All right. Well, Krystal, thanks for coming in. I want to introduce Krystal Roberts to everybody. I wanted to have you on the show because not only are you a dynamic leader in your career, but obviously a wife and a mother, and there's a lot going on. And you just have an upgraded job role at the office, taking on more responsibilities. And that's one of the things we want to talk about on this show is just how to do it all and do it well and be fulfilled, right? And so, obviously your journey, I was reading up a little bit about it. It was an interesting backstory. So I'd love to sort of hear from you about, what it really took to get to where you are now. And you're constantly growing. You're telling me you read a lot, so it just never stops, right?
Literally
the
never.
journey never stops.
Go mode all the time.
So, I mean, what brought you to where you are today? I mean, what got you inspired to crush it in sort of the insurance industry? And, people usually think about insurance like, well, that's boring. And
you don't grow up thinking you want to be an insurance agent, well, my daughters do. But before that, I hadn't heard, oh, I want to be an insurance agent when I grew up. In fact, I never thought about it once. So I was serving, bartending, because I found that was the best way that I could, without any education and with babies and a family already, make money. And I was doing, well at that, if you will. But man, I had one night, the last night that I worked in the service industry. It's slow season, November of 2016. I am closing the restaurant that night and it's completely dead. 4 o'clock dead, 5 o'clock dead, 6 o'clock dead. After 8 p.m., not a single soul walks through the restaurant door, not one person, until 11:58. Okay. This is literally the night before I found an opportunity with our company and then the insurance industry, but it's 11:58. I have 26 girls come walking up. They're celebrating a 21st birthday, if you can imagine the vibes. Yeah. And I had that manager on duty, the one, if you've been in the service industry, that's like looking to ruin your life at any opportunity possible. Right. So he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and he's like, we're taking this party. I'm like, bro, I haven't made any money tonight. You don't have to threaten me with a good time. Sure. So I can assure you that, everybody else might have been like, I was like, thank goodness. So I bring all these girls in, I get them all sat down, situated. And, if you've ever been to, I was at Joe's Crab Shack at the time. If you've ever been to a Joe's Crab Shack, it's a very personalized experience if it's done right. So I bring all of these girls in, I've got handwritten bibs, I'm hand tying on the bibs, and bartender went home hours ago at that point. So I had to make all of the cocktails for the 21st birthday. That's fine. I'm good with it. I get it out fast. I get the food order in and, I can stand there and watch Sergio, the one guy left in the kitchen, make all of this food. Or if I want these girls to eat, I better make some crab pots too. So I'm back in the back. I'm helping. I get all this food out. Long story short, they leave a disastrous mess after I absolutely killed it. And they left me 3 pennies on the table.
Oh my God.
That was my tip on the $1,700 check. So as you can imagine, I left that night. I hated everyone and I hated everything. Yeah. And I'm sitting on the couch scrolling on Facebook. This girl that I had gone to high school with in the area, she actually posted about our company that I'm with. She posted about it on Facebook. She was working at the time as an assistant to one of the leaders in our company. And essentially promoting interviews, right? So in my space, in my place that night, I hit her up. I'm like, what's this about? She's like, oh my gosh, Krystal, you'd be so good at this. I'll get you an interview. I walk in the next day and basically was presented with this opportunity of, if you work hard, you can make a lot of money. And I was like, well, I work hard. Yeah. And so for some reason, it hit me and I decided to work with our company. And my first year in, I made over $220,000. The next year was 365, then 405, then 590. And it's just grown, ever since then. So I guess, back to your point, I certainly didn't grow up dreaming of being in the insurance industry, but I've always had a real true desire to get very far away from, the life that I grew up in and, the limitations that I had. And I love to work hard. So just went after it and it's worked out really well.
Yeah. I mean, from what I sort of read about your backstory, you sort of bet on yourself, right? Yeah. That you're going to work hard. You can make it happen. You don't need like a salary or paycheck to do that. What do you think? Do you think that's always been in you or that sort of flipped when you were working? I mean, because I know for me, I didn't realize it until I was a little bit into my career that I should be betting on myself and doing my own thing. Yeah. But when did you realize that for yourself?
I guess, I was inspired by the fact that I was sitting in a room and I was being shown the earning opportunity by, at the end of the day, humans that I was looking at going, man, if these humans can do this, why in the world can't I? And think I got into, the right room with people that were inspiring and believed in me. And all it takes is a little bit of success. And I felt a little bit of success right away. And man, then you couldn't pay me to work for someone else. You couldn't pay me enough money. I'm telling you. And you would have to start you just couldn't pay me enough to work for someone else. I think once you realize that, then your mindset shifts. I will say, I grew up, my dad was an entrepreneur. My grandfather owned businesses. So I've always understood that hard work and working for yourself was a path. I just had no idea how I was going to find myself into that path, but I did and truly believe in it.
What did your dad and grandpa do?
So they owned towing and trucking businesses.
Oh, nice.
So I grew up in the back of a semi, that's for sure. And 911 calls, tow trucks. You got to go pick up the crashed cars on the side of the road. So 24/7, 365, you're locked in. So definitely learned some hard work from those guys.
Was that around this area?
Actually, in Hamilton, Ohio. Ohio is where my father and his family are from.
Yeah, that's a crazy business.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you got to tow people's car out of parking lots and they're drunk in a bar. It's wild. Like, it's wild out there for sure.
There's a lot of shade that gets thrown that way.
Yes. Right? The tow truck guy is not the most favored guy in the community a lot of times.
That's a tough job, and insurance is a tough job. I mean, it's a noble profession, right? But it's certainly not easy. Yeah. Well, that's really, really interesting. So now, I mean, you're leading teams, you've built teams. What was the shift for you from I'm doing this for myself and I'm finding success to I want to lead people, mentor them? Because it's one of the things that, people speak highly of you. It's like, Krystal's a great mentor. And what was that shift for you? Or,
I think, I've always had some leadership in my bones, if you will. I actually remember, we have to fill out this goal sheet day one in our company of our goals. And on day one, goal number 2, number 1 was my income goal, which I doubled, which was awesome.
Nice.
But number 2 is I wanted to be a leader. I saw that for myself right away. I wanted to be a trainer at the time is what I would have called it. And 6 months into my career, promoted into a leadership position. It's just natural for me to kind of reach around and bring everybody with me. I didn't have a super flashy resume before that. It was Target and Chick-fil-A and Panera and Joe's Crab Shack, but I ran those places, to be honest with you. I ran the front, the back. And so I think leadership has been, in me for a long time. But I guess it comes down to being so much more excited about helping other people. It's fun when you can do it for yourself, but when you can watch someone else change their life, I mean, there's nothing that really drives me more than that.
That was a thing for me, and I didn't think it would be the thing that motivated me when I was in sales and doing B2B. I was, got successful, made some money, and then I started mentoring other people. And it was like when I saw them do well, I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool.
It hits different.
Yeah, like you start to feel like I don't want to feel like too good about this, but it's like it's a cool feeling that they're doing well. And I'm not saying it's all attributed to me, but it was a nice feeling to see that. And then it sort of pushed me into leadership. That's really one of the things why I got into my business. Like I can work with people and sort of help them be better, which is really fulfilling. And one of the things based on your story that I think resonates with people and why it's like I did the things that no one really wanted to do. You got in the kitchen and you made the food even when that wasn't really your job. That's what leaders do is they jump in and serve,
done.
And people see that and probably know that that's who you are and they want to follow that and also see like, you did it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. What do you feel like is a core attribute if you're looking for somebody? Do you feel like there's things that are teachable and not teachable when you're looking for somebody to come do something like build a business?
We have, I have pretty high standards. In fact, it's a numbers game at the end of the day. So I dig through a lot to find the gold, if you will. And I do definitely look for a few things. Number 1, high integrity and character. That's top of the list for me, especially in the industry we're in. You've got to be doing the right thing by the other person on the phone. This isn't an app we're selling. It's not a penny stock. Health insurance is a big decision that people are going to rely on when their lives depend on it. So I found through the years that is the number 1 thing I look for. Where's your integrity? Where's your values, your character? And then, are you someone with a true desire to be successful? A lot of people, they want the success and they want the all the things that come along with it. But do you want it, or do you have a true desire for it? And, when I walked into that interview and I saw the earning opportunity, I couldn't sleep at night, and I had to have it and I had to make it work.
Yeah.
And that comes from true desire. And then I think, the third thing, especially in sales, is a competitive spirit. You could walk up to me anywhere, anytime, and challenge me to anything, and I'm going to try to knock you out, quite literally. And I'm not even going to mean to. It's just going to come out of me. I'm going to try to knock you out. And so somebody competitive is important, and then coachable. You got to be super coachable. I've been, just like you said earlier, reading every book that I can possibly. If you suggest it, I'm going to read it. If someone's doing something better than me, I'm going to study that person until I beat them. And I think just having that kind of drive is really important.
Yeah. What do you feel? So, one of the things I find, certain people are not coachable, and they could be great in other ways, but they don't want to. And also, I think that's partly my role or our role to be better coaches.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been working on lately is just being a better coach, not only to my clients, but the people that I'm mentoring and hopefully, bringing onto our team, to ask better questions. What do you find is the biggest challenge when you're sort of coaching somebody typically?
Yeah, I think belief system, believing in themselves, but just being open to being coachable. In fact, that's like one of the things that I truly dive into before I even bring someone onto the team is like, are you coachable? And of course, the immediate answer is, I'm coachable.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. So like, if I tell you you suck, are you going to listen and try to get better? And of course, just like you said, there's tact to it, and there's levels of leadership that you can tap into, or you can ask the right questions and try to bring that out. But honestly, I've learned, you can give everything in the world to a person, but if they're not truly open to receiving it, then it's kind of a waste of time. You got to get in front of the person that's ready to be coached.
Yeah, 100%. I was pretty unempathetic when I was a sales consultant. When I was mentoring, I was like, hey, listen, I do it. So I want the hard feedback. So obviously they must want it. Learned that pretty quickly. Wasn't going to work. And then when I became a frontline manager, it was even worse. So I was like, yeah, obviously they want coaching.
Right.
This is why they're here. Did not work. And I think there was always that coined like cliche statement, like, are you open to some coaching right now? And they'd be like, okay, yeah, here it comes. Here it comes, right? Let me sandwich a compliment with a
Oreo
criticism with a compliment.
Yes.
They're like, I know what you're doing, One of the things I've been working on recently is sort of level 3 questions, which is something that my friend, shout out to Jordan Montgomery, and I were talking about on a group coaching thing we do once a month, and just asking sort of deeper and deeper questions, and not just sort of getting past the surface, because people feel a little uncomfortable, intimidated typically, especially when their success is being questioned, right? Or they're feeling insecure about it, and just, getting past, hey, what do you think's going on here, and why, and just getting them to open up until they tell you the real reason why they're not following through or whatever, right? Yeah, it could be it's a delicate thing sometimes.
Yeah. Enveloping that ego is what it comes down to, right? So figuring out a way to create a level of vulnerability where we can open the doors and actually get in. You
just gotta be honest with me about what's going on here.
What's going on? I can only help you if you're open and willing to be vulnerable. Yeah. And a lot of times that starts with me being vulnerable and me telling them some of the things that I've had to overcome. And I think that's why I've had a lot of success in leadership, because, you get what you get with me. I'm Krystal. I'm going to be open. I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I'm going to give you everything that I've got. And I think that creates a level of comfort to where it's okay for other people to be open and honest and vulnerable.
And you've done everything and failed, right? It's like you've tried the things and failed, and that's okay. It's like, Tyler Perry had one of his talks. He was like, I've done everything to even sweeping the floor in my studio. So I know like what it takes to just do the basic job. I know what I can do to fail. So I can relay that to somebody, no matter who they are in the organization. Yeah. Which is important. Exactly.
Yeah. They're not going to listen to you if you don't have any grounds to stand on, if you will.
So what books you're reading recently, or what's one we have to read?
All right. So loaded question. Because trust me, I got plenty. So my number one book that I recommend to all of my brand new agents, somebody that joins the team, is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Okay. That was one of the first books that I read as someone in right out of the gate in sales. And I'm telling you, that book changed my life. It's so powerful. It opened my mind to things that I hadn't been exposed to before. Just so you understand, I walked into an opportunity and made, $200,000 plus, but I didn't even know a human when I walked in the door that made 6 figures in a year. So it was a big, big change for me. And I had to expand my mind to even believe that these things were possible. So that book is definitely my all-time go-to. This is your first book for success. Right now, we're reading The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team with our leadership team by Patrick Lencioni.
Yeah, go.
Have you read that one?
I've read that one. I've read The Ideal Team Player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a next. I literally just downloaded that yesterday, so that's next.
That's an easy read.
It's
written
both of them are.
It's written like a fiction, right?
The fable, right? The fable, the story. It's intriguing.
Yeah.
But this is actually probably the 5th time that I've read The 5 Dysfunctions and different leadership team, getting things going with this team. I think it's super valuable for teams.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, I have to read that one. I know it's on my list.
I know.
Amongst many others.
The never-ending list of good.
I know. Then I want to go back and read some I've already read just because I'm like, I know there's something in the notes I forgot to write down.
I need this message again.
Yeah. Like How to Win Friends and Influence People.
So good.
It's just a little bit, because the way it's written, obviously is a little tougher read, but it's a good book. And Atomic Habits, I really enjoy that book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dysfunctions of a Team. Absolutely. And one of the things that we look at on our team is, who's good at what. And it took me a while, but I'm like, I don't even care about I don't put operations in front of me. Just let me just deal with people all day.
Yes.
So it's been just finding somebody who's hyper organized and can do sort of those OCD tasks over and over again all day. Cause I know I could do them, but it tires me out. I'm not that guy.
I beg my leaders, when they get into leadership positions, and even my top performers, producers, get someone to help you as soon as humanly possible. And in the beginning, it looks like getting somebody to, do your laundry and clean your house. Your time is money. And then as you progress in business, it's, we handwritten thank you cards need to go out to your clients, but get somebody to handwrite the cards. If you're not making money on the phone selling, you should be handing that off to somebody else. I'm at this point, I have 6 assistants that help run the business. So, I couldn't do it without the squad that's behind me. And I'm highly in favor of help. And finding people that are good at your weaknesses is also such an important thing, just like you said. So
what do you look at as, so similar for us, we look at it as like the client side, the planning side, and the operations end of things. How do you break up departments, or how do you break up the workload in your world?
Yeah. So my current focus is certainly, recruiting. I've got to bring on new agents into the opportunity, help them change their life with the opportunity. I've got to manage, all of the different leaders and all of the different teams. So certainly have recruiting assistants. We certainly have a personal assistant that literally can do anything from getting me water to, which might sound silly, but if you know anything about a crazy day, sometimes you just need somebody to get you some water, to, answering customer service calls. And, I need somebody to help with the schedule and the, leads. We've got leads to manage. So definitely a ton of different categories. And again, finding somebody that's good in that category that you can trust.
Yeah.
That's going to hold it down. And then, overseeing all of it at the same time.
I know that. The hiring for someone who's hyper organized has been my biggest thing, and just find the right questions to ask to make sure that they really are. Because we use all the assessments. We use the Working Genius assessment, which is the Lencioni assessment, and Harrison and Culture Index, and it's like, all right, this
it's impressive.
Says all the right things.
I need to step up my game there. I'm not using assessments.
I'll show you some of those. Yeah. It's informative, but it's not going to get you all the way, right?
Yeah.
And then you answer some questions. You're like, okay, it sounds like you can do this.
Right.
And it's like, can you? So
I always say, you seem perfectly capable, but are you in the right place and space in your life to take on this kind of challenge?
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, there's no true way to know for sure until you just throw them in there and see how it works out. Exactly. But it seems like you put a lot of things in place to try to get you to the right person. So.
One of the things that I had to work on is putting more on the plate of the person that's working with me, to really figure out where their limit is, because otherwise you sort of are almost holding them back, but also holding the whole team back. It's like, I think that's enough workload. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't really know what they're capable of.
Right.
And not feeling bad about it.
Yeah.
Because I bring people in knowing we're a growth organization. They know we're a growth organization. Time is money. We're high urgency. We care about like the experience, but we need somebody who's going to be on top of it and like following through. And so I'm like, all right, let's just start adding more and
Right.
adding more. And then, okay, we'll find the limit. Cool.
Right.
Now we got to figure out how to build around that,
Exactly. And how to grow them as, a
Yeah.
person.
Mhm.
Your limit today can't be the same limit in
Right.
3 months. It just can't. We've
Yeah.
got to continue because my limit is going to grow and you got to keep up with me and I run fast. So
Yeah.
definitely understand that.
Yeah. What's been sort of your biggest challenge as, an entrepreneur? I mean, what do you feel like is the thing you have to work on the most, or that you're working on the most? Do you feel it?
Gosh, I've had, quite a few challenges, that's for sure. But I don't think any successful person will say that they have. And I think, juggling life, babies to boardrooms, you've got to handle and manage a lot. I think, um, constantly pushing yourself, it's very easy to lose sight of how fast you are growing because you're constantly raising the bar. So just reminding yourself and grounding yourself in the things that matter most has been the biggest challenge. And I think I can finally say that I'm doing a good job of that today. And it took me a long time to really get that going. Somebody like I described, super competitive that wants to win.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get locked in over here, and then you can almost easily lose your focus over here. And this is my family and the
Yeah.
things that matter the most. We've got to make it all happen, and I believe you can, but it takes a lot of intention. It takes a lot of planning, and so I feel like we're doing pretty good in that area, thankfully today. So
That has been something struggled with. I feel like I would at certain times in my life been doing really good in the career. Other times I've been doing really good in my health or with the family, and then it's like the other one is sort of like a seesaw, but in like 16 different directions of a seesaw.
Yep,
It's like
literally, it's
over.
like a merry-go-round.
It's not
perhaps.
not just back and forth. I've tried to integrate it together the best I can. I hate saying try, but I mean, really, it is like a constant effort.
Constant effort.
Constant effort to just balance it all out. And then once in a while having to check, like, okay, like on a scale from 1 to 10, like where am I from a health, where I then think my potential is, or if it's the family or spirituality or the business or financially, or, like
all of it. I know. I have those. I have what you're drawing right here. I have it. I have those maps. Exactly.
Yeah, it's like here's my visual representation of where I feel like I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think is the best tip you have for that? I don't know if you call it balance or integration or whatever you would call it, but
I think determining what exactly is top priority, getting really grounded in who you are, what you stand for. And once you have that on paper, then I put my priorities on paper first. For instance, my family is my number one priority always. I want to be successful. I want to win all of those things, but you can have all the success in the world and don't have your family. That's do not sign me up,
Sure.
So I, every single month I do this at a high level, and then every single week I do it. And then the night before my day starts tomorrow, I'm constantly checking in on these things. So if I know, for instance, date night is really, really important. I've been with my husband for almost 16 years now. And, I've learned you got to have date nights. So we have biweekly date nights. We cover the girls, we go out, we have a good time, and we forget that there's anything else, happening. That goes on my calendar first. Then we try to do at least every other month a weekend together. So we'll cover the kids and we'll just go to a place and spend the weekend and tap out and,
Cool.
and just be together. And then I want to spend time with my girls, and it's not just spending time with the girls, it's spending time with Zari and with Jasmine and with Rhea. So there's some group time, there's some individual time. And then I have a few important relationships in my life, my best friend, things like that. So those are my highest priority, and I put them on the calendar. And then I've got to take care of my health. So when am I going to do all of those things? Once I've got those two things, the staples, the things that I absolutely need to live, then work goes everywhere else. And then the biggest part is the discipline to keep up with what you commit to. And I think that's where checking in constantly, the weekly, the daily, even I don't leave the office for the night before I know what tomorrow looks like. And I've got everything in place that needs to be in place. Lots of holding myself accountable, I think is the deal. That's a pre-planning.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. The calendar, I feel like if it's not there, I'm not going to remember it at all or do it or plan for it.
Literally, yes. And it needs to be about a month and a half in advance or else forget about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The gym is on there.
Yeah.
Now, I like what you said about the date nights and with the kids, because I have 3 young children as well.
Yeah.
Wife and I obviously have a lot going on, and then we struggle sometimes to be getting out all the time and doing what we need to do. And with each kid, I do feel like sometimes each individual won't get lost in the shuffle of just what's going on that day. And that's really important.
It
Obviously,
means so much, and it doesn't have, that's the other thing is people get overwhelmed by it, but it doesn't have to be much, it can be, we have to go to the store and grab this. I'm grabbing Zari and Zari's coming with me. And while we're there, we're going to sneak over and grab an ice cream real fast. And it's just 5 minutes, 10 minutes of like just me and you, and I'm here with you. And I think that, it doesn't have to be hours, but it really hits. It means a lot. And I always say too, people are so focused on the kids, and I'm in favor of that, but the kids are going to grow up and the kids are going to have their own families. And then you're going to be left with your partner for the rest of your life. And man, if you don't nourish that relationship, what's that going to look like? And I also think it's modeling a healthy relationship for them. That's so important. And luckily, my husband and I we love being together and spending time together. So it has to be top priority. That's number one.
Nice. I love that. What do you think you would tell somebody, like if you go back to your younger self, maybe before all this growth?
Yeah.
What is one thing you would tell yourself early on in life that you feel like would be useful tip?
Yeah, I think watch your ego. I found a lot of success pretty quickly, and then I decided that I was the best and the greatest. And, gosh, that ego will get you in a lot of trouble. And so I wish if I could go back and do it all over, right? And we've learned our lesson, so it is what it is. But watch that ego. Don't forget that as fast as you can gain success, you can lose it.
Sure.
Don't forget, to stay rooted in your morals and your values, and to prioritize the things that are most valuable to you. And it's like I said, you find some success, especially financially, and then you're on top of the world, and then you might even turn into a person that you don't like looking in the mirror at. So watch the ego, stay humble.
I think my ego definitely is one of the reasons I was not as successful just out of college. I graduated with 2 degrees in engineering, and I'm like, all right, like I'm the man.
I'm the best.
I was not working in engineering because there were no jobs after the recession. I'm like, all right, well, it was the recession, not me.
Yeah.
And then I was doing financial services without much direction. I'm like, why am I not being successful? I'm X, Y, or Z.
I have all these
23-year-old, should have everything and entitlement, and it just didn't work out the way I thought it would, which was humbling, which was good.
Right. Right.
And then I found success, but then it was more about, I was so focused on the career and not a lot of other things, because I'm like, all right, I'll just focus on the career. My health really took a hit. And it wasn't until after, really at that point, I'm like, all right, I got to like round this out in some way, because I just wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm supposed to be mentoring others, and I'm showing them the one thing, the one piece of the pie.
That's it. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's like, I've made all of this money and I have all this excess, but I'm crying every morning and I'm not healthy. And wait a minute, hold on. That's not, that doesn't seem like a good deal. So, staying true to all the balance of it is really, that's success, I think.
Yeah. So what's most exciting for you looking forward now? Obviously, you have a new role and responsibilities. What not just in career, but what's most excitable for you now?
I might sound silly, but long-term life, I can't wait to be a grandma.
I
mean, I can. I very much can, right? So nothing weird.
Time.
I've got time, but I want the life where I can support my girls in ways that maybe my husband and I haven't had support. I want to be there. I want to raise grandkids. I want to support my children. I want to help build their families. I want to, be able to do that comfortably, of course, which is going to take a lot of hard work and planning and things like that. And business, I've really been a part of changing a lot of people's lives, and it fuels me. It really does fuel me. And watching people come in and, start at this level, and now they're crying and they're like, this is my life. And that's so fulfilling to me. So, the more responsibility, the more responsibility, but just being a part of truly changing people's lives. And of course, just like you said earlier, it's not like it's all me, but I do believe that I do have an ability to inspire and to motivate people. And I can connect with people, in a unique way. And I've accepted that, and I've stepped into that. And so just being a part of that is what's really exciting to me. And then eventually, having grandbabies and having a family and having I want my kids to want me to be there for everything.
Yeah.
And I want to be involved, and I want to be just the best grandparent and great grandparent. I want to be the best. I want to be the best forever for my family. Yeah. So.
That's awesome. The more that I talk to people that have like a true vision for things, the more it ends up turning into like a legacy generational thing, whether it's the business or financial legacy or values legacy. It always ends up turning into that, I feel like, for most people, because once you make money, it's like, all right, well,
now what?
I have a lot of stuff, but like, what am I actually doing that is going to live beyond me?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really, that's more fulfilling. I mean, right. So you help your children and your children's children, and you instill those values and give them what you maybe couldn't have, but also sort of show them, to your point, like ego and like not entitlement and working hard for things. That's one of the challenges, or one of the things I see, especially in my role, in finance, is like people can come into a lot of money because they're like, oh, I built all this for you. And then it's like not really, the values weren't passed also along with it.
Yeah. No, that's so real. It's like, I certainly don't want to raise entitled brats, at the end of the day. I'll say it. And instilling those values and yeah, that's it. I think legacy, I think maybe I'm going to run with that forever and ever. Right. Legacy is a good way to put it. Legacy and success in all of the different areas in life, not just financially, But
you're also leaving a legacy with these individuals that you're helping with their lives, because their lives are going to be changed for the better, for something you helped them with, which is cool. That's one of the things that was fulfilling for me. I'm like, oh, like they were able to buy their first house, or, pick their kids on vacation or get married or whatever it was. I'm like, oh, it's because a little bit of mentorship or guidance. And it's pretty cool like that. So what are some trends you're seeing in your space, like in the industry? Do you see any big changes with, and I was like, obviously artificial intelligence and, the financial structure of America might be shifting slightly. So like, what do you feel like, any big changes that are coming for you guys and in that side of things?
With health insurance, it's a wild industry, that's for sure. I know that I've just been committed from day one to helping people navigate through it. I usually started my sales calls with, hey, I'm going to help you pick whatever sucks the less today. And people appreciate that. They appreciate just honesty, transparency. As far as building in the business and connecting with people, we are kind of, I'll give you a little secret here. We're kind of trailblazing the way into connecting virtually all over the country. We'll be the first team to have proven that we can work, 100% remote from home all over the nation. So working really, really hard on that for the last year. And I think we're pretty much at the 50-yard line, about to touchdown it in. And I've been able to reach people in Florida for years, and Tampa Bay area, now Sarasota. We've reached a lot of lives, but I'm working with a guy in Montana and a girl this morning I talked to that's in Utah. And, I can't wait to see their lives changed from all the way over there. That's the next goal trend for me is expanding the reach, getting farther.
Yeah, that's interesting. I see a lot of potential for just obviously connectivity that's been happening since, the Zoom era.
Yes, exactly.
As people call it, the Zoomers, not the boomers, right?
That's funny.
Zoomers will never understand. Has really connected, obviously, a lot of people for the work we do and just making it more accessible, because even, my clients' grandparents now have Zoom because of their grandkids, right? Where before it was like, you're not sitting face to face, knee to knee. It's not so easy to transact certain types of business.
Right.
I was in an industry prior where it was B2B, and that was different. And in tech, they didn't care. It was like virtual everything, we don't need to be in person for any of this stuff.
Right.
But, financial insurance, a lot of things have sort of lagged and then sort of were forced into it. But I feel like that connectivity is coming up. And then obviously artificial intelligence is changing the game a little bit with the ease of use of certain things. We'll see what happens.
I don't know how I lived without AI, to be honest. I chat GPT my life away. I feel like tapping into, you got to keep up, you got to keep up. You got to keep up with what, and try to stay ahead, really, if you want to compete in business. And so we definitely are all over tapping into whatever we can to keep in the lead, really, is what we're trying to do.
I always find it funny because we'll get like someone's phone number from somewhere. Like, how'd you get my phone number? Like, the internet,
Yeah. It's
And
not
I'm
hard.
like, do you remember back in the day when there was this thing called the white pages and it was a book? Well, instead of the book, it's now online.
Yeah.
It's like these things change, but they stay the same, sort of, just become quicker.
Exactly. I could probably figure out your blood type. So what do you, or you're behind.
It's all there somewhere.
What's going on?
It's all there somewhere. Yeah. Use of technology. It feels like my children are growing up with it. It's funny. We'll see my daughter like just swiping on like my iPhone or my wife's iPhone, just like getting through stuff. And I'm like, how do you? But she sort of grew into it, just like we sort of grew into certain things. And
yeah, it's second nature for them. My girls are at like an academy or a college preparatory academy. Essentially, they don't even use paper at all. Like 100% iPads, 100% testing, lessons. Everything is on an iPad, and it's kind of bizarre, but that's where we're at.
That's where it's going.
Yeah.
It's I do feel like, my daughter will read books, but like hard books, paper books, but she's also got her tablet. And I'm like, okay, like if you have an affinity for books, it's cool that you read those. But the reality is like your whole life will be digital at some point, maybe even virtual cyber, what's it called? Virtual reality, right? It's
exactly
like augmented reality. So you got to be good at that stuff.
Yep.
It's going to be the new way. And
people that fight it, it's like, I don't know how much good we're doing there because they have to survive in the world that's existing. So, you can instill some love of books and physical books, but you're right. They've got to keep up too. So
I think I shared a meme on Instagram, my story, and it was this little clip from the first like America Online advertisement. It was like, what is this? It's an email. It's like, it'll tell you when you log in, you've got mail. And it's like, you've got mail thing. And I'm like, the first email. And now it's like, even that is sometimes like slow. It's like between everything else we have to connect with people.
Yeah.
It's so, like almost
like email.
outdated.
It's actually a little bit frustrating. All right, I'll email you. Yeah, that's funny. It's true. Very
it's just
true.
it's moved on, and maybe people thought it wasn't going to be the thing, but it became a thing pretty quick.
Exactly.
And it's moving ever faster and faster. So we'll be doing something weird on Mars or the moon soon.
I don't doubt it. I'd say, okay. And I'd start figuring out Mars. We got to figure it out.
We're going to open the market. There's a different sort of need up there now.
Do they need health insurance in Mars? I'll ask.
Oh my gosh. So outside of work, which obviously you can fit into the schedule everywhere else, and you have things with the kids and the family, anything else that you have going on that is exciting or you're looking forward to, or projects you're working on?
Yeah, so I am working on a new business initiative with some women that I very much admire. It's called Everything She Needs.
Cool.
This is a platform where we're creating content, courses. We're doing coaching, mentoring, specifically for women in sales. I've learned throughout the years, I've connected with such amazing women. Doctors, lawyers, and what I've identified is they're very good at what they do, but they do not know how to sell. And I do. I know how to sell. And so I believe that Preeta Patel is actually who I'm running this business with, co-founding the business with. She's amazing. And I think her and I are going to be able to deliver some high-level content to really, really help women in sales. And it's helping them not only realize, how to be professional and to sell, but also that we already have everything that we need. We simply need to believe that and step into it. And I think the combination of her and I, we can do a lot of good for a lot of women and a lot of mothers and sisters and wives. That's the goal. So
when does that go live, or is it live?
Yeah, so it should go live in August. We've been doing all of the work for recording all of the content, things like that. So coming up soon,
awesome.
We'll be able to tap into that. We'll get our launch
how
party.
will people find that or find you?
Yeah, so it's going to be online. We'll be all over the place. We'll have a launch party. It'll be a membership based platform. So there'll be, you can sign up to just take a one-time class. You can get monthly content, access to coaching, things like that. So we will, I'll definitely get you the details as soon as it's live.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it'll be like a national, international, anybody can really get into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So a training, now would that be part of, so from the standpoint of like, I go in there, I have access to things, modules and things to learn from and study from? And then is there
Exactly.
any other aspect to it that I would be entering into if I'm
Yeah,
part of that platform?
so definitely modules, courses, lots of content, and then we're definitely planning on having events, conferences. Flying people in will definitely be the goal.
Cool.
A lot of opportunity for coaching. Preeta and I have just naturally have a ton of women reaching out. Constantly, how do you do
Sure.
it? Teach
Sure.
me how to do it. And we've spent a lot of time just giving that. But we want to formalize it. We want to make it more accessible. And of course we have our only 24 hours in a day. So how can we reach all of these people and
Yeah.
give them what they really, really want and need? That's the goal. So be able to tap into a lot of different resources there.
Yeah. No, I love that. And, you got to have a niche. And I think there is a really big opportunity for on the women's side of things
Yeah.
just to give support. It's just not all, especially in financial sales. I mean, all of that,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. It's a male dominated industry. It's
Hmm.
not a secret, and there are unique challenges as a woman being in a
Sure.
male dominated industry, because, while we've taken on this role of trying to keep up there, we still naturally want nothing more than to be, wives and mothers.
Yeah.
And so how do you balance it all,
Yeah.
and that's what people are looking for. They're looking for help with that. And then, just like I said, even if it's a different path, if they're not in sales specifically, they've worked so hard to become, a dentist,
Hmm.
and they're great at their practice, but they have to open the doors and get people to come in, and,
Yeah.
and they have to sell,
Yeah.
So that's really what we're finding. So we'll start, primarily with helping in sales and insurance sales, and then can't wait to really tap into helping just women in general, because even if you're not in sales, yes, you are.
Sure.
Yes, you are. You have to
No.
sell yourself for everything, really.
Yeah.
And so learning that skill set is important.
Everyone is in sales to some degree, whether it's
Exactly.
getting the job or, you know,
Getting a partner, or,
getting
you have to sell
engaged, right?
yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have
It's
to sell
like,
yourself for
we're
a
the
lot
right
of different
fit.
things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100%. That's a huge, and I don't, people don't really realize that. Like, oh, I'm not a salesperson. Like,
Yes, you
oh,
are.
everyone to some degree needs to have some knowledge in that
Yeah.
space.
Seriously.
Right.
No matter what you're doing,
Yeah.
you have to sell yourself. You have to sell
Yeah.
yourself to get up out of bed every day,
Yeah. I enjoy that same side of things. Like to your point, like the operations, like I need someone to be like, I'm gonna take over your operations and do that,
Yeah.
not the sales side.
Right.
But people need the sales end of things. And yeah, like with women, and I see it with my wife. I mean, regardless of having two parents, like the kids gravitate towards mom a lot. And so there's a lot of
100%.
demands there,
Yeah.
a little bit of guilt, I'm sure, like with, hey, I'm taking my time away to, focus on myself. And that's a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah.
And to your point about making sure you're being intentional about it, that helps. But there's always gonna be a challenge, childbirth, like you can't get around those things,
Yeah.
but you still want to be successful and do your own thing. So
Exactly.
it's a
And I
massive
think,
opportunity.
having back to wanting to build a life for my girls, like having the choice, um, I was in survival mode for my whole life, and I had to figure it out, because we didn't have much. My parents didn't have much. So, if I could do it all over again, and maybe had the choice, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't just want to be a stay-at-home mom. I mean, I think that's the most beautiful thing in the entire world.
Yeah.
So, and it's wild because people think, oh, you're an advocate of stay-at-home mom. I'm like, yes, if I could do it all over again, I might just do that, but this was my path this time. And I think the world kind of pushes this, female take over the world, but like
Yeah.
we've gotten pretty far away from like how powerful a woman can be just at home and supporting
Sure.
their family. And so I think just having the choice and
option.
creating the option, and helping my girls understand that there is an option. And while it's cool to be Krystal Roberts and successful in sales and leader, it's just as cool to be, at home and building,
Right.
your home and your family. So having the choice, I think, is the goal for my girls, for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm sure there's some women out there that feel like, hey, stay-at-home mom, that's my thing. Like I couldn't go do something, out there in the workforce. And there's some that feel like I have to do this workforce thing. It's like otherwise, what am I doing?
Exactly.
Versus it's okay to do either one.
It's exactly.
Have the option. Just be able to choose.
Exactly.
Whatever you
Choose.
care about.
Yep, exactly. And just knowing the importance of each of those things, and got to find what's your path, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Any final thoughts, things that you want to make sure we get across to aspiring entrepreneurs, young salespeople, anything that you feel like we missed?
Well, it's been a pleasure, first of all. I guess, if I had to leave people with a message, would be start before you're ready,
Mm,
jump right in. You
yeah.
don't have to have it all figured out to figure it out. Stay true to who you are, know who you are, stay firm with that, no matter what, comes your way. And just know that you can be anything that you want to be. You just have to believe that you can be that. You don't
Hmm.
have to be someone else. You don't have to change yourself too much to be successful. You just have to believe in yourself
Yeah.
and believe that you can accomplish anything. And so just do it. That's the
I
goal.
love it. Just do it. Get out there.
Just do it.
Where can people find you online, social media? How can
Yeah.
they look you up?
So Instagram, Mrs. K. Roberts on Instagram. I'm on TikTok as well. Same handle. You can find me, anywhere. Facebook, LinkedIn. You just Google me. You'll find me
There you
out
are.
there. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. It's good
Thanks for
talking to you.
having me. Thank you so much.